uh, proximities of distance and cutting their cost of production. So I think the only and the surest ways and the proper ways that we should be exporting these products not through Dubai and Singapore, but through Lahore and Amritsar, and exporting to other places. That is how people will benefit in terms of their empowerment, employment, cutting our cost of production, and becoming more competitive. For this, I think we have to obviously address to many issues, which are tariff issues and non-tariff issues. I am not going to go into the rigmarole of routine and facts and figures. We all know that. I think philosophically, we have to understand that if we have to live like good, peaceful, and happy neighbors, because this is something. I mean, we have got it as a matter of history. Whether we like it or not, we are neighbors. It's all up to us to live like peaceful neighbors or unruly neighbors. We have fought, for the last 64 years or 60 years or 50 years like unruly neighbors and gained nothing. Destroyed our two houses or damaged our two houses. Now's the time to learn our lesson from the past and move forward with unity of thought and action. That if Europe fought battles, wars, guillotined each other for centuries and killed millions and gave immediate causes to two world wars, which annihilated societies after societies and cities after cities. Millions of people were killed. And today we see the last 60 years, they have become, if not hunky-dory, they may be having their own grievances deep down their hearts, but at least they are acting like very wise people. They have European Union, common market, they have single currency, come to the rescue of Greece, which went bankrupt and pumped in 120 billion euros over there. They came to rescue of Italy and advised the Prime Minister to leave. And that's how I think Europe has become one house today. And previously they were house of cards. Today it's a strong house. So I think this is where we have to really ponder over and think that this part of the world, which has suffered in many ways, has to now convert its sufferings into happiness, into prosperity. This is difficult, but not impossible. And this is the first step, I think, the two countries have taken. And this is a long journey. No question about it. If anybody thinks that everything will be milk and honey, is living in a fool's paradise. But I think we have to also resolve that we will suffer no fool anymore. And those jerky, knee-jerk decisions of the past, that story has to be buried for all times to come. And we have to act wisely, and we have to think very coolly. I am sure we will find solutions to most ticklish problems, whether it's Kashmir, whether it's water issue. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I'm being very honest with you, that while we wholeheartedly, we support this scheme, this great initiative on both sides, and I applaud those great minds in industry, in commerce, I think in political world, on both sides, who have really given support to this idea. And of course, Jio and Jung and Mir Khalilur Rahman for this Aman Ki Asha. It's a great initiative. But I think if we do not flag problem areas, then we will be, we will be unfair to ourselves and unfair to everybody. We must also understand that on the way we have to address our problem areas as well. Otherwise, there will be, like in the past, a chance, an outside chance that, God forbid, an adventure will come and rock the boat. What will happen then? So I think it is extremely important that while we give full support and impetus to this great initiative, we should also address our our burning issues in a fashion which burn the candles of hope and not burn lives and property and people. That's what is very important to understand. Because, let's say, for any reason, if we are locked into a difficult situation, then bigots and extremists on both sides, they will thrive. Do we want that to happen? As has happened in the past, in order to marginalize them, in order to sort of make them mum, we have to come out with solutions. And solutions probably will not happen overnight. On the way we'll find them. But that resolve must be shown in no uncertain terms. Otherwise, those voices will keep on crying at a higher pitch and will disturb this process always. So I think this is one of the most important points I want to submit for your kind consideration, that while there is no other option, I think I am a brother of a former Prime Minister who, through the collective effort of this nation, gave finality to our nuclear program. But I'm also the brother of the Prime Minister who initiated this great bus diplomacy initiative when Prime Minister Vajpayee came to Lahore, and we signed this Lahore Declaration, and subsequently an adventurer who made Pakistan as a rental state for his madness, declared that Lahore Declaration as a sellout declaration. And then he had to bend backwards to meet Indian Prime Minister at Kathmandu at a high cost. So time and tide wait for none, ladies and gentlemen. Lahore Declaration was a great opportunity. Bus diplomacy was a great opportunity when leaders had gathered here, and there were voices on both sides in Mumbai, in Lahore, and of course extremists were trying to sabotage that initiative. But I think through an iron resolve of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and Prime Minister Vajpayee, we could achieve Lahore Declaration, and then rest is history. So I think I will not take much of your time. I would say that here is an opportunity. Let us, grab this opportunity. Otherwise, posterity will not forgive us. Thank you. Pakistan Zindabad, India Zindabad.